Hey guys, this is Ghana's #1 blogger. This is my first official live on YouTube. I'm actually gonna have a live interview with the founder of QOQ. Before that, I'll let you know that in a minute, the meaning of QOQ. And I'm also gonna have another guest host by the name of L Selector. So guys, just stay tuned and sit back and definitely, enjoy the ride. Um, yeah, again, I'm new to this. I'm not gonna follow any format. Just so you guys know, if you want to be a part of the chat, the link is within the chat room. So, we can chop it up, talk about life, see what's good, and, what's popping and what's crack-a-lacking. So I guess for now, we could just sit here and, you know, shoot the shit, talk about, various things. Again, as I said, I'm just waiting for two of my guests right now to appear in the room. And then as they appear in the room, we can definitely go live. This is the first edition of the GHNO1 Blogga live, as you can see. If there's going to be any music that is going to be played, understand that I do not have or own the copyright to any of these songs. This is the GHNO1 Blogger live show that is being presented to you. It's 11:35 p.m. Eastern. I guess the majority of the kiddies have went to bed. If not, they're probably up watching cartoons on the YouTube. And yeah, that's about it. Just tune in. Watch the GHNO1 Blogger live experience. And we can definitely go from there. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Just, come in and let's chime in on issues all over the place. Yikes. I guess you guys are definitely hearing all that echoing, but as I said, I'm new to this. I just want to try a thing and see, where it's going. So yeah, guys, definitely do not be shy to chime into this conversation at all. So how was everybody's day today? What'd you end up doing? In the parts that I'm at right now, it's kind of cold, It's the fall. It's what's the date today actually? October 7th to be exact. Wow. The year is almost over. Like really, really over. Yeah, and just so you know, if you've logged on to my YouTube, you would notice that I've just recently posted. Give me 1 second, guys. I just got a call. Hello? I don't see you, eh? Yeah, I'm looking at the bottom of the screen. All I see is myself. Say it again. Oh yeah, because I sent you a new link. Yeah, I also posted the new link in the live stream. Okay. Okay.
Oh, it's your guy. Woo! What's that? What's that sound? Okay, there we go. What's goody? What's goody?
Okay. Hey, how you doing, man? This is the No.1 Blogger Live podcast, videocast, whatever you want to call it. We're on the StreamYard, and I'm here with the one, the only El Selector.
I'll Selector live in the flesh. What's goody, everybody?
Mhm.
I'm in the building. You know what I mean? Ready. What's up to everybody? It's your guy live in the flesh.
Right now, I was actually supposed to interview a guy who is a clothing designer and also the founder of QOQ. But he's just having connectivity issues, so he just told me that give him a second or so, and he'll definitely be in the building. But for now, let's just chop it up. Let's. How about we talk about what happened last night?
Oh, well, last night was a pretty interesting game to say the least. The Los Angeles Lakers did what they were expected to do, and they came out victorious, and they were able to defeat the Miami Heat in Game 4 in a pivotal Game 4 matchup. LeBron James did come through in the flesh, and he came through and he performed, especially towards the ending of the matchup. He came through in the fourth quarter and he hit a big shot. Anthony Davis also came through and hit a big shot, as well as Caldwell Pope.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to edge it out. It was a very interesting game to say the
Mm-hmm.
least. Mm-hmm.
So, seeing as you're talking and analyzing the game, you're talking about a few athletes on the Lakers side. Um, what about the athletes within on the Miami Heat? Because I know that the Miami Heat was dealing with some injuries. Bam Adebayo, Goran Dragic,
Yeah.
even Jimmy Butler. So enlighten us as to what's going on that side.
Okay, so basically, at Bam Adebayor, he had an injury. He came back from injury. He played a pretty decent matchup to say the least. Bam came through. Actually, I think he scored about, was it 15 points or something of that nature. He
Mm-hmm.
grabbed rebounds and he definitely showed out. You know what I mean? He was playing pretty big. He played pretty well, but the problem is, he's facing numerous towers what the Los Angeles Lakers has. Bam is like what, 6'8", 6'9", so he's only so tall, right? When he's dealing with
Mm-hmm.
players like of the likes of Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, guys like JaVale McGee, LeBron James, and players with a lot of height and a lot of just a lot of height out there. So
Mm-hmm.
Bam definitely did show out. He's people need to understand too. Bam is a rookie, not a rookie, but he's his first time actually playing these pivotal playoff matchups and in this pivotal playoff game where
So you're saying basically this is Bam's first time at the rodeo.
basically, so he's a newbie, but definitely showing out, definitely playing really well. He's a good player. He has a bright future ahead of him. He's come a long way. He's definitely going out there and showing out and just showing why he's potentially the future and whatnot of the NBA and why, he's a guy to look out for in the future. And yeah, he's a great player.
So Um, Game 5 is basically on the horizon,
Mm-hmm.
which is tomorrow, Thursday.
That's right. I think it's Friday,
Right?
right? Friday,
Say
right?
it again.
It's Friday, right? Game 5 is Friday?
Actually, right now is Wednesday, right?
Yeah, today's Wednesday.
So would it? Yeah. Okay. So yes, you're right. Game 5 is actually on Friday because
Mm-hmm.
I remember they said okay, games 1 to 4 they were going to be back to back, but
Yeah,
Game 5 and so on they would actually stretch it out.
yeah.
So my question to you would be is, um, are the LA Lakers closing out in Game 5? Or is the Miami Heat coming back from 3-1? Because remember, right now, these guys are down 3-1.
Mm-hmm. I think it's in the LA's Lakers' best interest to close it out in Game 5. due to the circumstances and due to the fact that they are right now up 3-1. So I think it's important that they do close it out in game five. They shouldn't carry the season on and drag the season on any longer. For those who don't know, the NBA viewership is actually kind of currently at an all-time low. So NBA viewership actually has gone down about 70%.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty bad right now. I believe I last checked was I think game four, or sorry, game three had a viewership of about 4 million people. So that's pretty relatively low.
Mm-hmm.
4.3 for an NBA for an NBA finals. That's extremely low at that because it is a finals. It's a championship match. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao did more numbers on pay per view than the NBA
Mm-hmm.
championship is doing currently right now. So due to
Mm-hmm.
certain circumstances and whatnot, the NBA is going down in viewership. And if they continuously keep on this path, right now the interest is not there. So if they continue on this path, basically, it could just alienate or just make things a lot worse. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean,
So right now, in terms of viewership in America, what is the number one most watched sport within that country?
I would say it has to be the NFL football and college football. I would
Hands down,
say
eh?
NFL football, cult like fan bases. NFL football probably has the highest viewership for any sport on this planet,
Mm-hmm.
period, by far. There's nobody. NFL has cult like fan bases. These fan bases, unlike other sports and stuff like that, NFL fan bases go back as far as like the 50s and the 40s and stuff like that. So you have people whose grandfathers and great great grandfathers that were fans of teams that are fans of that team still. You see what I'm saying?
So we're
Due to
talking
the
about like these old money guys.
old. I'm telling you, and even new, they're still building new fan base. They still have new
Mm-hmm.
people paying attention and watching NFL. So NFL is definitely the way to go as far as viewership goes, as far as money, as far as betting, Super Bowl, all that stuff. NFL is supreme. If you go, you know how it is in the United States, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
basically, everybody and their mother plays football. Like you were once a football player. Like if you were living out there, you would have probably been playing Division 1 at like maybe flipping, you know what I mean? Coastal Carolina, or you know what I mean, or East Carolina, or
That's
Texas
true.
A&M. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that's just
Yeah.
it's a religion out there, and NFL is always going to be supreme in the United States. Like it's a
That's true.
gladiator sport. You know what I mean? It's an alpha male sport. You know what I mean? You have to be a certain type of savage to want to play that sport, and then a certain type
Mm-hmm.
of
That is
savage.
true. That
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. NFL is gonna always be supreme. College football is also humongous in the United States. Just in general, like you know, what I mean, college football has cult like fan bases. Like the University of Alabama's football team is like they play what how many games, and they sell out every game, and they have people buying merch.
What do they? How many games a season do they play? I believe is it
Uh,
10?
12 games.
Oh,
But
okay, 12 games.
but because of the
So
COVID and
close
stuff,
to NFL standing.
yeah, NFL's about 16. I think it's going to go up to about 17 or 18 in the distant year or two. But then NFL also has preseason. College football doesn't have preseason. So NFL tends to have
Oh,
preseason games, sometimes upwards of 5 preseason games. You know what I mean? Or
yeah.
so it ranges. It could be up towards of 20 something games in the NFL. But
But it's all
NFL,
about the numbers financially, isn't it?
exactly. NFL, let me tell you something. NFL is an oligopoly. So basically, in order to get an NFL franchise, there's no waiting list. You got to be selected for that. And let me tell you something. You could be Bill Gates could say I want an NFL franchise. Doesn't mean he's going to get one. You get one
Mm-hmm.
coming, they decline any and everybody. You see what I'm saying? Go ask the U.S. President Donald Trump. He once tried to purchase numerous NFL franchises, and he was unsuccessful. And a lot of other billionaires have been unsuccessful. A lot of real
Mm-hmm.
estate, a lot of top dogs out in different places of all over the country have been trying to get NFL franchise. Go ask some of the owners in Toronto. They're trying to bring an NFL
The
franchise over there
Buffalo
to.
Bills.
Yep, and they were trying to bring a franchise over to Canada and Toronto, but basically the NFL was like, no, we're not
It's
doing it.
not happening.
Yeah, oligopoly. Like I think the last franchise to actually be granted a franchise was the Houston Texans. Basically, the Texans I think they got the team in '99 or something like that, and that was like '99 or something or 2000, and that was the
Mhm.
last franchise that was granted. Outside of that, a lot of other teams want but can't get. And
Mm.
NFL franchises are very lucrative, man. You see what I'm saying? They're extremely lucrative. It's like they're up there with the likes of Barcelona and even Real Madrid. And even with Barcelona and Real Madrid, they're losing money. Those franchises they have
There.
it. NFL franchises are just going up. So NFL is supreme.
But speaking of the lucrative market of buying franchises within the NFL,
Yeah.
if it was up to you right now, would you want to be a shareholder to own a piece of the pie, or would you prefer to go all in yourself and literally buy a franchise and bring it in?
The franchise itself, it's tough to even get one. And then some franchises are not listed on the actual stock market or on the exchange. So it's kind of hard to even buy shares in the company. Sometimes you may have to go to the owner or work out some sort of deal to get some sort of maybe a percentage in an NFL company. It's NFL team itself, like a franchise. But ideally, I would say, hey, how whatever it depends the finances of an individual. So it's kind of like, for example, some people can't afford to buy an NFL team. It's not. Listen, let's be real. You got to have a certain amount of money to buy an NFL team, and
You
the
gotta have
prices
boku money. Let's be
exactly,
real.
exactly, buku money indeed. Because if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to even look at a fan. You get a sniff of an NFL fan. They're going for the billions. They're not going for hundreds of millions. They're going for the billions. Started.
Mhm.
And it's multi-billions. And then also remember, you're going to bring in billions. You're going to bring in billions over time. NFL is a very lucrative industry, and NFL is a lucrative business to operate and run. So if you can get a franchise, NFL supreme. Remember that, like you know what I mean. Doesn't matter where you are in the United States. They're playing football. They're watching football. They eat, sleep, dream football. Football is everything.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay, now let's get back to the NBA conversation.
Hmm.
As it stands now, the Lakers are up 3-1.
Hmm.
LeBron's back in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Another storyline, Jimmy Butler being there for his first time, basically coming over from the 76ers
Yeah.
within the offseason.
Hmm.
And then some kid by the name of Duncan Robinson basically has, you know, the two last names of Hall of Famers that played for the San Antonio Spurs, as in Tim Duncan and Duncan, and I'm saying Duncan, Tim Duncan and
David
David
Robinson.
Roberts.
Yeah.
What do you think about that Duncan Robinson kid?
Yeah.
Remember, this is the kid that went from Division 3 to D1 and into the league and playing for Miami Heat. That's a great
Yeah.
story right
It
there.
is a great story and definitely a good player. And that shows people too, like, hey man, there's good talent everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're playing. You know what I mean? He went from D3, then he
Yep.
later on transferred over to D1. And then
Mm-hmm.
he, you know what I mean? And then he later on he played for Michigan too, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
Michigan. Yeah, so he's definitely a good player. I think he's a solid player, excellent shooter, very skillful, very skillful, high IQ basketball player, knows his limits, knows what he can do, what he can't do, plays within the system. He's a really good player. He's a very skillful player. So I think he's a really good talent. He has a bright future in the NBA. You know, I mean, the bag is coming for him when he's a free agent. Best believe
Mm-hmm.
a lot of teams are gonna add him on that roster because yo, you know what I mean? Let's be real, bro. If you're playing championship pedigree basketball, a team's gonna want you. You know what I mean? And on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, too, let's be real. There's a lot of NBA. There's a lack of. There basically when you can shoot the ball as well as he can, you're always gonna have a job in the NBA.
So seeing that with Duncan Robinson, let's be brutally honest, I've seen his game. He's that guy that is automatic from the 3 point line.
Mhm.
Do you think as time goes on, he's gonna add new things to his repertoire? Because let's be brutally honest, his defense is a liability right now. Let's be brutally honest.
Defensively, Miami's just all in general outside of Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they're not really a good defensive team all overall. So he will over time, you know what I mean, pick up his defense. You know what I mean, as competition keeps getting better. You know what I mean, the matchups become a little bit more trickier and challenging. As far as stylistically, he doesn't suit well. The Miami Heat in general just don't suit well with the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers bring a lot of challenges due to the fact of the height of some of the players, and due to the fact that some of the players are basically very versatile as well. They can do multiple things extremely well. So Miami's a team where it's kind of like they're very undersized. So they're going to have a lot of challenges when it comes to going up against teams like Lakers. So stylistically, they don't match up. So he's being, I mean, defensively, he's not going to really look that well because it's like, let's be real, like, I mean, it's not every night you're going to see LeBron James out there on the court, right? So it's kind
That
of
is
like,
true.
or Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis. So it's just like they played a smaller lineup in Boston, and then they came to the Lakers, and now they're seeing the Monstars, So
So you're saying it's basically right now. It's a Space Jam movie all over again. And
basically,
ironically enough, Space Jam 2, LeBron is gonna be the main guy.
yep, he definitely is going to be the main guy in Space Jam 2. It's going to be an interesting one to say the least. I see LeBron James basically doing his thing. He's going to go over to that side, the Hollywood side. He definitely went over to LA to do acting, and now he's showing. I mean, he's going to be. I don't know when the movie's coming out. It's been rumored to be coming out for years. It might even already be done. I heard they were. I
Yeah.
heard they were filming. I think I heard they were already filming, so possibly it could be done by now. But
Mhm.
mhm,
And the one thing they always say in business is leverage or get leverage. Because let's be brutally honest, LeBron didn't just leave Cleveland to just leave Cleveland. He figured, okay, you know what? I'm
mhm,
going to be in LA. I'm going to have the flashing lights. I'm going to have everything. But at the same time, me moving my life out there with my family, my wife, my kids,
mhm,
this could be something where it's like, okay, well, if I'm playing for the Lakers, I already have
mhm,
a name for myself. I have a big endorsement from Nike. On top of that, I even own a percentage of the English Premiership side
mhm.
called Liverpool.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's that I come to Hollywood, as you said, he can act, he can do a plethora of things.
Mhm,
So for him, it's a win-win situation because he's getting a bag over here, bag over here, bag over here, bag over here. On top of
mhm.
that, wins the NBA championship, that's going to be another bag.
That's right. Definitely a bag. Definitely a bag for LeBron James. LeBron James. I think at this point, I don't think he's playing for the money. I think it's more of a legacy standpoint.
Legacy.
Yeah, financially, LeBron James has enough
He
money.
good.
Yes, he's not one of these players that are hurting for cash or whatever or playing for a check. So I think he's more playing for the legacy standpoint. So I believe him getting Finals MVP, if he can get it, possibly get it on Friday, and then winning the championship, I think that'll be the icing on the cake for him with his fourth NBA championship and being able to go out there and basically promote his brand and promote himself and basically just continue with his legend and his legacy. So he's been to how many NBA finals? About this will be
His
his
10th.
10th. Yes, 10th. So he's won about four championships. If he wins on Friday, it'll be his fourth championship. So definitely a great legacy standpoint. He has a lot of way to go to catch up with guys of the like of Will Chamberlain. I'm not Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell and LeBron, Michael Jordan. So, but at the same time, though, as far as him as a player in this generation and this time, he definitely inspired the youth, and a lot of kids look up to LeBron James as far as a basketball player goes, and they like the way he plays stylistically and whatnot. So he definitely is an important player for today's generation.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
I got two more questions for you when it comes to LeBron and the legacy.
mhm,
As you watched, I believe it was in game three.
mhm.
Miami lost that game, and I think with like 7 seconds left, LeBron walked off the court. We all know LeBron is a whiner. We all know that when LeBron loses, he's not, the best character. Can you speak to what happened on the sideline to the point where I believe Jared Dudley has not seen any floor time within the NBA playoffs or even in the finals, and he basically had to strip down and get on the court for like 7 seconds. Walk us through that. Like, how did
Yeah.
you feel about what LeBron did?
Basically, yeah. Well, basically, you look at it. Game 3, LeBron James was playing like a tomato can. He was playing like garbage. You know what I mean? Let's be real. If anybody, if he's upset, he needs to be upset as himself because let's be real, passing the ball, playing very passive aggressive. He played horrendous. He didn't play a good game. He got crushed. I don't know if he chose not to play a good game because it looked like he just checked out. I don't know, maybe I don't know, quote unquote, what happened with him, but basically he ended up checking out. It seems like because you could see I've watched him since he came into the NBA, so I know what LeBron. I know when LeBron's playing, and I know when LeBron's just out here joking around. You see what I'm saying? Or not taking the game, or just joking around out here, not really playing a good game, or he just looked like he was just out there joking around that game. I don't know if he was trying to. I don't know what he was trying to do out there, but basically him walking off the court. That's a testament to him. Like at the end of the day, like that's something he's doing because he's playing like ass. Simple as that. Like I mean, when you have a poor performance of that magnitude, it's just like, what are you really doing out here? You see what I'm saying? It's just like, and then you walk off the court. Okay, you walk off the court because you're upset at yourself. That's it. Don't be upset at anybody else. Anthony Davis played like ass too, but that's a whole nother conversation.
But you're great. We're
Mhm.
talking about the ones that came before you, like the Kobe Bryants, um, the Michael Jordans, the Isaiah Thomases, the Wilt Chamberlains, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Those guys wouldn't do things like that.
Come on, but LeBron James, these guys are built differently. These guys are from a different era and stuff like that. LeBron James a whiner. We know that, man. You know what I mean? How many times
That's
he's
true.
come up with
You
excuses and
can't
stuff
even
like that?
foul him.
Yeah, you
Even if you
don't.
block him, it's a foul in the
It's
NBA.
foul, exact. And then how many times does he come up with excuses after he loses and comes up with all these things? And like at this point, nothing surprises me when it comes to LeBron James. The reality is he walked off. Whatever, he has to see them again. So it is what it is. He goes to the showers early, I guess. That happens, bro. He was upset. Maybe he was just upset at his play, bro. Like sometimes that happens. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're just not in a good mood, man. You just be like, I'm out of here.
But I'm gonna say one thing though.
Uh,
LeBron has went to 10 NBA finals and he's only won 3 times. When we have late greats like Kareem,
Bill
who was it?
Russell. Bill Russell. Bill
Russell.
Russell.
And what did they get? Like 11, 12 championships apiece?
Bill Russell got about 11 championships. Kareem
See?
Abdul-Jabbar has 6.
See?
Yeah. So LeBron James, the problem with LeBron James is this: is I think LeBron James just got beat by better teams at the end of the day. That's all it boils down to. There was better teams. You know, basketball's not a one-player sport. So
It is
all these people out here who think it's about leadership, and it's about leadership, and also it's about teamwork, and that's the two main components. You got to be a leader, and you got to be able to play in a team. Either if you can't be a leader, you got to be able to play in a team. LeBron James chose to be the leader, and he was defeated numerous times, regardless of what he stepped on the court. I don't want to make no excuses saying, "Oh, look who he had," or this, that. Regardless of what, there's times where he should have won against Dallas Mavericks in 2011. He should have won that series.
Oh yeah, he should have.
He should have won that series.
He
I think
gave that away to Disco Dirk.
exactly, and then I think also when he came back to Cleveland in 2000, and what year was that? 15 or something like that. 2015. Came back to Cleveland, and it was kind of like he lost that one. I mean, cool, I understand. You know, he was up, but he was playing with Matthew Dellavedova and those guys. I'm not making no excuses, but he did suit up. There was a lot of injuries, but he did suit up. He did play. He almost won it, but he just got beat by the better team that night, that day, or that series, or whatever. So the reality is, LeBron James is a talented player. He's a really talented player. I think he has a bright future ahead of him. Like as far as the game goes, he's definitely put in a lot of work. You know, what I mean, to me, legendary player. Uh, legendary player. That's what I could say.
But let's look at the timeline of LeBron James ever since he's left the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
When he went to Miami Heat the first year, he didn't win it. But within the second year, he did win. And I believe they did go back to back.
Yeah, they did go back to back.
And
Definitely.
one more thing, too, I noticed is that when he went back to Cleveland, he lost in the first year.
Yeah,
And then he won in the second. I remember, we've had conversation, especially in the past. And what did I always say? Just looking at that pattern, I said, you know what? LeBron is not going to win. This was, I believe, in 2019. I said LeBron's not going to win. But I said 2020 coming, you better believe LeBron's going to win. Because LeBron always wins in year 2.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, you're right. He didn't win. He definitely didn't win last season, but he's potentially has the he still hasn't won yet, but he still has the potential to win. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires with that. You know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The other LeBron comment that I
Mhm.
wanted to get in there before we move over to Tyler Hero is that do you feel LeBron has enough years on him to possibly be able to stay in the league long enough to play at least one or two seasons with his son?
Anything's possible with the technology we have, and basically, the technology we have in today's world, and I think anything is possible. It's all up to his son, how good his son becomes. His son
Mm-hmm.
becomes good enough to play in the NBA because as of right now, we don't even know how good his son is. He's still
Yeah.
really young. He just entering the 10th grade. So it's kind of like, he still has ways to go. So we'll see how that transpires. But as of right now, I think still that's a pipe dream. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about how his talent emerges. I'm not saying he won't make it to the NBA. He
Mm-hmm.
could make it to the NBA. I wouldn't be shocked if he made it to the NBA at all. Uh, I think he could potentially make it there. It's just all about how he gets in and how he develops as a player and how fast he can get in as well. You see what I'm saying? Because time is ticking on LeBron James. LeBron James isn't in no spring chicken. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying? So, like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, though, it's not even about LeBron James's son. It's more about LeBron James's legacy.
That's true.
Yeah, because it's let's be real, man. Like a lot of players' sons come in, and a lot of guys either if their fathers are really great, the sons never has become as good as the fathers. You see what I'm saying? I probably only one circumstance where the son was a great father and a great son came out, and I think that was only with Ken Griffey Jr. and the Griffey
Mm-hmm.
family. You see what I'm saying? Outside of that, though, I've never seen that before. I've seen fathers who play in the league and then sons who surpassed, or in different sports, sons who surpassed. I've seen fathers who played, yeah, sons who surpassed,
Clay
or
Thompson and his dad.
yeah, Klay Thompson's father was a decent player, but like he wasn't no
Yeah,
like
but his son
great.
surpassed him. So
Yeah, exactly. Like no different from like Kobe Bryant and Jelly Bean Bryant. You see what I'm saying? Or Stephen Curry and Del Curry. Yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes to LeBron's son, the way I look at it is regardless, if he doesn't make the league, at least he has something very nicely to fall back on is LeBron's businesses, right? Just like the whole thing with Michael Jordan's sons. At least, that's the generational wealth LeBron has built for not just his family, but well, sorry, he didn't just build generational wealth just for his son, but his youngest son and his youngest daughter. So either
Yeah,
way, those kids
that's
are gonna
true.
be good.
That's true. Yeah, they'll be good as far as wealth goes, but as far as legacy, though, they're obviously going to want to build their own legacy, right? You
That
don't
is
want to,
true.
yeah, it's just children. Let's be real, kids. Don't live off your parents, man. Create your own lane. You know what I mean? Be your own
That is
person at
true.
the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be known as, oh, so and so's child. You want to definitely be your own individual at the end of the day, right? So
You're right.
that's something that that's a lot of these kids, especially these superstar children. A lot of times they have identity crisis. They don't even know who they are. People are like, oh, you play sports, your dad played this or your daughter played this, and it's kind of like, oh, I don't do this. What do you do? Oh, I'm just this, and they're looking at you like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, the expectations your father has, or you know what I mean, the father has placed upon them, it's just kind of like extreme, like out the you know what I mean, out the world. Like you sometimes like Michael Jordan once said in his Hall of Fame speech, like you know what I mean, you guys have big shoes to fill because I put in work. You see what I'm saying? Now you guys definitely gotta create your own lane and become great at something because you know what I
Mhm.
mean. Everyone's gonna be looking at you as Michael Jordan's father instead of being like, okay, you see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's the problem. That's the problem with a lot of celebrity kids. A lot of times it's kind of like, it's just like you got to be able to create something or build something for yourself as an individual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. I don't care what it is could be anything in life. Just as long as you have your own lane and you stick to it, and you don't even have to be famous, but you could be really good at what you do. You see what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about LeBron's legacy.
Uh-huh.
Um, let's move over back to Miami Heat, man. What do you
Mhm.
think? What do you think of that young kid, Tyler Hero,
I think he's
the
at
guy
least
that the guy that spells his last name with two R's instead of one R?
yeah. I think he's a talented player.
Mm-hmm.
Very skilled, plays above his age. He
Mm-hmm.
plays
I
light
agree
years
with
ahead.
that.
Light years ahead. You know what I mean? He's a he's just fundamentally sound. Like he's been taught how to play basketball the right way. He could shoot, he could dribble, he could take the ball down the court, he could shoot floaters, he could play mid range, he could do it. He could virtually. He's very. You could see a lot of positive things in his game,
He
and
went to
I
Kentucky, right?
yeah, he did go to Kentucky, and he was
With
definitely
John Calipari.
yeah, and he was a stud over there. He was a stud, like I mean, he was excellent player, and he was coached. John Calipari is, I would say, a good. He's I wouldn't say he's a he's a how do I say this? I wouldn't say he's a great coach because to me, I don't care what anyone says. With the amount of talent he's had, he should have at least 7 NCAA championships.
Oh,
But at the same
so
time, he
like
only has
Coach K status.
Coach Mike Krzyzewski, even he himself is an overrated coach. Like you mean to tell me you couldn't win a championship with Zion Williamson on the court there? Like you got to start. People got to start really holding these coaches accountable because
Accountable,
they're
yeah.
getting they're getting 5-star recruits, blue chip athletes, the creme de la creme of high school phenomenons, and they're just going into the tournament and not winning the tournament. Like you should be winning the tournament, whipping ass. I'm not saying all the time, but you should be whipping ass a good amount of times and winning those championships a good amount of times. A lot of these coaches don't have as many championships as they should have due to the fact of I understand the talent pool is really good, the coaching is really good. But to me, when you have certain types of players, you should be able to win a championship with those players and that pedigree. And a lot of those coaches don't do it, man. They just come in there. They
But
don't
would
do it.
you say the
Only
whole
John.
concept of the one and done going to the NBA has also affected these coaches, or that's not an excuse?
That's not an excuse. At the end of the day, you recruit these guys. Like you could go and recruit other players and tell them, "Hey, stay at my school for 4 years." You go out seeking these guys, so it's up to you. Whoever you seek, you got to go out there and execute with them. You know what I mean? You can't come up with scapegoats like, "Oh, but this, but that," but you don't even pay these guys. So what's the issue? Just these guys are giving you free service. You
That's
see what I'm
true.
saying? They're giving you free service. So it's not like the money is a factor, finance is the factor. That's not a
Hmm.
factor. The reality is it's just the coaching and the schemes and stuff. These coaches are just they're not as good as you think they are, or are they portray them to be like, well, come on, man.
But now my question to you is, do you think if a player has developed enough to go to the NBA, but at the same time a coach is looking to win an NCAA championship, do you think it's fair that because the coach has a personal ambition to win a national title and the specific player or players will allow him to get there, do you think it would be selfish for a coach to be like, I want you to stay all 4 years, I want you to stay an extra year, knowing that the NBA and the big lights and the beaucoup money is right there?
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches that tend to do that. There's been coaches that have sabotaged players saying you're not ready to play in the NBA, and a lot of these guys will listen to the coach because they put the coach. They're not their parents send them out to these coaches and think, oh, the coaches knows well. You parent my child instead of parents sitting down there and looking at the optics and seeing where the student athletes going, you see what I'm saying, and forecasting and helping forecast where if it's right decision or it's a wrong decision. The reality is though is a lot of these guys they turn 18 or whatever, 17, 18, 19, they go to college.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You definitely as a player, you know what I mean, you're an adult at that stage. So it's kind of like you can make their own decisions for yourself. Don't let these
That's
coaches
true.
dictate and tell you what time it is and where you know what I mean, you go out there and you could even enter, and then if you don't see you're doing well, then you could exit off the NBA draft. You know what I mean? There's a certain time frame they have where you could still be eligible to go to college and play basketball. To me, though, the reality is, though, I don't think it's a good idea for coaches to be dictating and telling players when they should enter and when they should leave.
Mhm.
Coaches should be honest and be like, "Hey, yo, this is where you're at right now. You possibly potentially get drafted, or you might not be able to get picked up, but there's only limited spots. You see what I'm saying? But you should never hold somebody back from making a living and being able to do something that their dream or following or attacking their passion or being able to accomplish a goal that is on their mind, or you know what I mean? Because let's be real, playing in the NBA is not even an easy thing to do. A lot of guys get the opportunity and they're flame out after a couple of years, or they might even play 1 year or whatever. But the average NBA lifespan is like what, 4 years or something like that, or three
Oh
years.
wow!
Yeah, it's not that, or
You
four or
got to
five
get
years.
your money and get out, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Get your. I would say first things first. People emphasize the money aspect. I would say find your niche in the NBA. If you get drafted in the NBA, get on a team and develop your game. The money's gonna come. It's evident. You're gonna make money. You're bound to make at least high six figures to millions of dollars. That's the bare minimum. A second round draft pick, maybe a thing. He might even make $1 million. So you're gonna make your mill. But the key component
He's
is
still going to be a millionaire regardless.
exactly. The key component is to make sure you find your niche working in the system, because there's only a certain amount of jobs out there. There's not that many teams. It's not like the MLB or the NFL where there's like tons of teams or tons of roster space and all this other stuff. So you have to
It's
kind of
only
be
what, like 17 spots?
17. Then they have the G League. Yeah, 17, including some of the G League players. And then on top of that, they have the development. That's a good idea. They have the development league, so players can come into the development league and stuff like that. And build up from there. But the NFL, the NBA has a certain amount of spots. So advise players, work on your game, work on your craft. Don't look at it from the money aspect. Look at it from the. I understand some people come from poverty and they need the finances and stuff like that. But let's be real. If you're good at basketball, you can make money in Europe. You can make money other places as well. But if you want to develop your game and build an actual something that can help benefit you in the future and whatnot, and help you with your game and just help you in general, I would
Mhm.
advise, yeah, just to work on your craft as a player. Like, look at your work on the craft. You get into the NBA, even before you enter the NBA, continuously get better every season, so that you could definitely develop something and then develop a legacy. And trust me, the money will pile up and
The
come in.
money will come.
And also stick on a roster. I mean, I'm not. You don't have to be a superstar or anything like that. You could even be the 10th guy on the team, but you could also have a good long career as the 10th guy on the team. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, or the 11th guy, the 12th guy on the team. You could have a career from that. Go ask guys like guys like
Marvin Williams
Marvin Williams. Marvin
that
Williams
just
actually.
recently retired from the Bucks.
Marvin Williams, the problem with Marvin Williams is Marvin Williams is an underachiever. You know, he was drafted
He is.
the second pick in I think 2004, 2005, and he ain't pan out to
He didn't do
anything.
nothing.
He didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? But he made money.
He did.
He didn't
And it
develop it
wasn't
to.
just any money. It was buku money,
Yeah,
bro. He did.
he definitely did. You know what I mean? But then there's some guys who come in very talented, but not really thing, not really taking the game that seriously, and they're out of the league in no time. So it's just kind of like you gotta make sure you take the game very seriously. You see what I'm saying? Like I'll tell you a prime example. It was a player by the name of Tyrus Thomas who used to play in the NBA. Tyrus Thomas was
Yeah.
solid.
That guy was an amazing college standout.
Yeah, yeah, amazing college standout. He was definitely he can attack the rack. He played at LSU. He can attack the rack. He was just very aggressive on the court. He was very raw, and the money and all the fame got to his head, and he's not even in the league anymore. Like he played in the
Wow.
league for like how many years? He had he had like I don't know how many. I can't remember exactly how many years it was, but it wasn't more than even 10 years. Like he could have played much more line in the NBA, but his attitude and also the fact that he was arrogant and the fact that a lot of times money. What happens is with these guys, they get the money and the money enhances whatever they were. You see what I'm saying? So some people could be a cool guy, and then when they get money, they're even more nice guy. And they start giving out money to people, and then they're going broke. And then there's some guys who they get money, they have habits and stuff, and they get money, and the more money they get, the more that the money uh, goes in.
Evaporates.
Not evaporates, but the more their habits are shown, they start showing
Mm,
more of their habits because of the money they have. So they start doing a lot more different things. They start,
okay.
and it enhances what they have. And then what happens later on is boom, the money's gone. You see what I'm saying? And their legacy is just like thrown in the toilet. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
People don't even respect them. People look at them and be like, yo, this is time third. But yo, one thing, listen, boss, give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. All right. I'm gonna be right
Okay.
back in yeah, I'll be right back in 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah, guys, we're just gonna give El Selector 1 minute. Right now he's just gonna take care of a few things. We're basically talking about a few topics. We're talking about Game Four, Lakers versus Heat, where the Heat actually unfortunately lost the game. So now the Lakers are up 3-1, and a lot of people are hoping that the Lakers will close out the series on Friday. Another thing we talked about was Duncan Robinson, new boy on the Miami Heat. I believe this is his second year in the league. Just talking about how efficient he is from the 3 point line and just his beautiful story coming all the way from playing at a Division 3 school to going to a Division 1 school in Michigan and starring for the Miami Heat within his second year, where the Miami Heat are in the NBA Finals. The next thing we also talked about was Tyler Hero of Miami. He's another guy that has a lot of efficiency on the 3 point line. He's come into the NBA very, very game ready. Also, on top of that, he's a rookie. Can tell that boy has ice in his veins. Like the confidence that Eric Spoelstra even puts into him, plus his own. You can definitely see that Tyler Hero, the guy with spells hero with two R's in his last name, is definitely a kid that, seems like he'll stay in the league for a while. I just hope, he doesn't feel that he has a ceiling, that he just continues to get better. Because the only way you can go up is from here. You can't just say, I've been to the NBA Finals, let me relax, man. Mm-mm. We also talked about, the legacy of LeBron, him winning 3 championships, him coming to the Lakers, talking about even Space Jam 2, and even if there was going to be a possibility of his son coming to the league. One more thing we're gonna wrap up on, which is college basketball. How we were talking about Tyler Hero, and we started talking about the University of Kentucky's basketball program, and how that program has birthed a lot of standout NBA players, like guys like John Wall, Tyler Hero, most recently, um, Davis, the eyebrow. As you can see here, Bama Debayo, who plays for the Miami Heat, and he's definitely somebody that I can say that John Calipari is a very, very, very good coach, but the way he coaches is very unselfish. But just to let you guys know, our selector is here, so we're gonna let him back in.
All
Sorry
right.
about that, our selector. I was just going through what we were
Mhm.
just talking about,
Yeah.
giving people a brief recap, and
Hmm.
then now we can get right back to it.
Yeah. So I hear you talking about college basketball and whatnot. So yeah, as far.
Do you think, personally, for me, I feel like out of all the college coaches, mind you, I don't know all the college coaches, but I think out of all of them, John Calipari is the most unselfish coach. Seeing that, if he feels a player can go in the NBA within year one, he lets them go.
Hmm.
Like, even if you look in the playoffs now, a lot of Kentucky players have been doing damage in the playoffs, all the way from Jamal Murray, that plays for the Denver Nuggets, Anthony Eyebrow Davis, who plays for the Lakers, Bam Adebayo, who plays for the Miami Heat, and also Tyler Hero. So it speaks good things about that program.
Yeah, it definitely does. As far as for kids coming up, kids will see that and be like, "Oh yeah, Kentucky, it's a surefire. I'll go to the NBA." But remember, for every Jamal Murray, there's other recruits that have entered Kentucky, and just never panned out in the NBA as well. There's been so many guys. I could name a few offhand that came
DeMarcus
through.
Cousins is
Nah, he's one
one of
that
the
actually
guys that made the NBA.
he's
It did
actually
work
panned
out.
out. Yeah, he
Say it
panned
again.
out. He actually panned out.
He did.
Yeah, he actually panned out. But there's been other guys like Tyler Eulis. He didn't pan out. He was a blue chip player coming in to the NBA. There was also the Harrison twins. They came to the NBA. They're out of the league. All these guys, Harrison twins are
Oh
out the
wow.
league. Tyler Eulis out the league. Who else is another guy who went there? There's been a lot of players that have gone to John Calipari's system and just flunked out. Let me tell you something about John Calipari's system. John Calipari is kind of like this. If you do not do well at his program, you better transfer out of there after your first year.
Right away.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is he's going to recruit over under you. So he's going to go and find the next 5-star recruit player that's going to replace you, and
Mm.
you're going to be on the back of the bench. You see what I'm saying? You're going to be on the back of the bench. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Definitely, you're going to be on the back of the bench. So you have to either go to the NBA, or have to definitely either that, or you have to do something else. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's been a lot of players that went to Kentucky, like guys like Enes Kanter and all these other guys that went to Kentucky and actually played in the NBA. But at the
Yeah, Cantor's another one. Boston.
yeah, and they definitely do have a lot of guys. But remember though, you only got a short time span on there, and if you don't utilize it at that present moment, don't expect him to come in there and don't expect to have that same role you had your first year or your second year, third year. He's gonna look at you as your damaged goods. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really down to the players that, yeah, although you got recruited to that program, you better damn as hell make sure that, yo, you ball out, because if you don't ball out, hey, the next man out, next man in. You can still be in the program, but doesn't
Exactly.
necessarily mean that you get to show what you can do.
Exactly. As far as John Calipari, the coach, I think he's overrated. Like I said, the amount of talent he's had, the amount of talents he's had, uh, he should have at least like 7 NBA championships. Like he's has a lot of guys. Like I could name you a bunch of guys.
NCAA championships, eh?
Yeah. He's had John Wall, Devin Booker, DeMarcus Cousins. He's had Anthony Davis. Who else? Eric Bledsoe,
Hey,
DeAndre
remember,
Fox. He's had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's had Jamal Murray, Carl Anthony Towns, Hamidou
and
Diallo.
remember Pat Patterson.
Exactly. Mike Knox, Enes Kanter, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, Willie Cauley Stein, Julius Randle, Jared Vanderbilt,
Oh
Trey
yeah, I remember
Lyles.
Julius Randle.
Exactly. Trey Lyles, Kevin Greavy, Malik Monk, Brandon Knight, Bam Adebayo. He's had a lot of talented players, but like, what has he done with any of these guys? And then on top of that, too, remember, people forget that he did coach at Memphis as well. So
Mm.
he had the
So
likes of
Derrick
CDR,
Rose. Did he have Derrick Rose?
exactly, Derrick Rose, Chris Douglas Roberts. He had what's that guy's name from Philly who used to play for the Sacramento Kings? He was really nice. He won Rookie of the Year there. What's his name again? Flip. I forgot this guy's name.
Evans.
Yeah, Tyreek Evans. He's had guys like that. He's also coached guys like Marcus Camby. He's coached what's this guy? Camden, New Jersey legend. What's his name? Dewan Wagner. He's had a lot of talented players, and he only has one championship. Does that
Wow.
tell you? Yeah. So it's like, and I named you a whole bunch of studs, and he only has one championship.
Yo, that's embarrassing. So that means, would you put him in the same bracket as Doc Rivers?
Doc Rivers is the biggest fumble out there in sports. You know what I mean? Doc Rivers, you give Doc Rivers Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Will Chamberlain, um, uh, and he'll still manage to mess that up and still not win.
He'll still mess up, eh?
He'll mess that up. He's a notorious mess up.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah. Yeah, enough about college basketball. Let's take it back to the hard court.
Hmm.
This is something that rarely gets even talked about, but
Hmm.
you know what? I think I'm gonna have to actually put it out there right now. In terms of the African connection
Hmm.
to the NBA Finals,
Yeah.
doesn't get talked about much, but
Hmm.
we have a lot of African ballers in there, man. Like we have Bam Adebayo. We also have there's another baller on Miami Heat who actually plays for the Nigerian national team. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look up his name. Just give me a second. And I believe on the other side, yeah, one of Giannis's brothers
That's right.
plays on the LA Lakers.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Am I
Antetokounmpo.
getting it all right there? Have I
Yeah.
called out all the Africans that are playing in the NBA
Yeah.
Finals right
I
now?
think so. I think so. Antetokounmpo. He's on the bench, so he's one
Yeah,
of the
he
prospects. He's one of the
he hasn't seen a
prospects.
minute.
Is a prospect right now, so they're developing him. He's in the development stages. You might not see him really play prevalent minutes for a couple of years, maybe before he actually shows out, starts balling out potentially.
Mhm.
Antaku Bam Adebayor is, yes, he's half. He's African in general. He's a black man, African man. Every black man is African, you know what I mean? But his father is African and his mother's African American. His mother's from Newark, New Jersey. His father
Mm.
his father is from Nigeria. His mom gave him the name Bam. His first name is actually Idris. Uh, you know what I'm saying? So his first name is Idris Bam Adebayor. So yeah, definitely a good player, definitely a talented player. Definitely played for Team USA. I know he played at the Euro camp. Like that's the first time I seen him about 5 years ago or something like that, or 4 or 5 years, 4 years ago. I seen him at the Euro camp. He was
Mhm.
balling out. It was funny out of in the Euro camp. I think he was him and maybe him and one other guy, the only guys who made it to the NBA from that Euro camp. He was actually playing for Team USA, so he represented them while they're playing the European teams and stuff. I think Italy and some other teams in Europe. But yeah, he definitely showed out. He definitely balled out. He's a talented player.
Wow.
Mm.
So would you definitely say that Giannis's younger brother will be the first one in the Antetokounmpo family to win a ring?
Potentially, we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? They still got remember they still got to win that game. You know what I mean? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I could see them potentially winning it, but Friday they have the game, and if they don't, then they have a game on Sunday. That will be game. If Friday will be game 5, Sunday will be game 6, and then possibly what Tuesday or something, Wednesday or something will be game 7. So we'll see what happens. You know, like you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Never count. You can never count out the eye of the tiger, and you know what I mean. The players on the court, right? These guys are professionals for a reason.
Hey, we can't forget about Andre Iguodala, man. That's another Nigerian, Charlie.
That's right. Yeah,
You
that's
don't
right.
want these people to bring us Wahalo. We can't
Yeah,
forget about Andre
yeah,
Iguodala.
yeah. Andre Iguodala is. I think he's half Nigerian. Is that correct?
Oh, he's half?
I think so. Yeah, he's from Chicago. He's from Illinois, the
Oh, I
Illinois
thought he
area.
was a full guy.
Yeah, I believe he's half Nigerian, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
He could be, well, he's Nigerian. He's a black man, right? I mean, you
Mhm.
see what I'm saying? So, like I said before, any black person on this planet is from Africa. You know what I mean?
That is
So,
true.
yeah. So
You're
that's
definitely preaching to the choir, man. You ain't lying
exactly.
about that.
Yeah, every black person is from Africa. It doesn't matter where you're from on this planet. But yeah, I think his father or something, one of the relatives are Nigerian. But I know, yeah, that's right. $100 is definitely a great player. I forgot about him. Yep. Hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'm trying to look up this guy and, I haven't been able to find him, but,
Hmm.
when he comes up, right? Um, Going forward, too, we talked about, yes, the African connection within the NBA Finals.
Hmm.
Another connection I would like to talk about is the connection in terms of Toronto, the Toronto Raptors, and the Golden State Warriors. What I'm basically just trying to get at is whoever played in the NBA Finals last year, a lot of those guys have returned to play in these NBA Finals this year, even though their respective teams that they've left a year before are not here, but they're here.
Mhm.
What do you have to say about that?
That one's pretty interesting. Actually, the more even if you want to do a connection, you should do the Shaquille O'Neal connection. Basically, in the last, I think, 35 years or 34 years, every single NBA Finals team has had a player that is connected to Shaquille O'Neal.
Hmm.
So they
How
all played
so?
with Shaq once. Everybody, somebody on that team has played with Shaq one time. He's connected. He's had a teammate in the last 35 or 34 years with somebody in the NBA Finals.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's a pretty interesting connection.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah.
Actually, also too, I believe the list of guys that actually returned to the NBA final, only one, which is Danny Green from the Toronto Raptors.
Hmm.
Kawhi Leonard got knocked out in the semis.
Hmm.
Um, JaVale McGee,
Hmm.
Quinn Cook of the Lakers,
Hmm.
who were previous. And did I say JaVale McGee?
Hmm. Yep.
Okay, so JaVale McGee, Quinn Cook. I believe is there one more where maybe there's another where on the other side. But these two players actually played for the Warriors last year, just
Hmm.
like Iguodala.
Hmm.
And I believe that is all the players that actually played last year in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, Iguodala definitely did. Quinn Cook. Yep. There.
Mhm.
Yep. Iguodala. Hmm. That's right.
Oh yeah, and I was actually speaking about the Toronto connection. The Toronto connection that actually is in there right now. A lot of people don't know this, but I know you know this. Kelly Olynyk, who plays for the Miami Heat. A lot of people think he's from BC, but he's actually not. He
Nice.
went to actually go play high school basketball out there, but he's originally from Toronto. I remember,
Yeah.
I think it was like last year, Carabana weekend. Yo, I'm at Carabana, and I see this tall white guy with his hair back, with a bunch of gyal. And I was like, yo, I looked at the guy, I was like, yo, aren't you Kelly Olynyk? He's like, yeah, man, what up, man? Everything good? I'm like, yeah, man, Miami all the way, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Shouts to Kelly Olynyk. Actually, I actually met him in Toronto, down on King Street over there. He was actually just kicking it. I mean, but yeah, he's from Toronto. He's actually a Toronto guy. Salute to
Yeah,
Kelly
that's
Olynyk.
pretty interesting, man. He's a
Yeah,
Toronto
salute,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
salute to a lot of Canadian players play in the NBA. A lot of guys from the GTA or the or surrounding areas close to Toronto play in the NBA. So
That's true, man. Shout out to
salute
GTA, man.
to yeah, salute to Kelly Olynyk. Salute to all those guys out there, man, that are hooping.
That's true, man.
Mm, definitely.
You know who I'm excited for to potentially get an NBA ring? I know I'm terrible, but I gotta say it, man. Jared Dudley.
Jared Dudley. Yo, for those who don't know, I actually watched Jared Dudley in college. I actually saw him. I remember watching him in Boston College. He was a
Was the
stud.
man nice or was he shit?
He was a stud. He was nice. He was nice.
Yeah.
Jared Dudley's been a nice player. The problem is Jared Dudley's old. Jared Dudley's gotten old over eight. You know what I mean? And Father Time has kicked in for Jared Dudley. But Jared Dudley, I could
How
see
long has he been in the NBA?
Jared Dudley got to the NBA. What year did he get to the NBA? I think it was 2007. 2007.
2007?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So he basically got to the NBA when we were basically in high school, like our
Yeah.
last year of high school.
Yeah, he's been in the NBA for a long time now. He got in
So that's like
2000.
a decade.
Yeah, over a decade.
Yeah.
Over a decade. He's been in there since '07. Definitely, you know what I mean? He's a good player, man. Jared Dudley, he went to Boston College. He ran Boston College. Like I remember him running the team, like hooping and
So
running.
yo, you're telling me, yo, Dudley I run things.
Yeah, Dudley's a baller.
Boston College.
Dudley's a baller for real.
Imdat.
Dudley's a baller. Dudley's a baller for real. Like, don't sleep on
Wow.
Jared Dudley. He could hoop, dog. He could really hoop.
Oh
Mhm,
wow. Huh.
mhm.
Jared Dudley, man. I
Definitely.
don't know, man, because I feel like Jared Dudley's a scrub now, man. Nothing against Jared Dudley. I know mans are gonna be vexed at me for saying that, but I feel like, yeah, he's just riding pine, man.
Yo, Jared Dudley though,
Good
35,
guy.
35 years old. Yo, the tires ran out on him. Like, he's 35, man. Like, he's 35 years old, man. Like, what more can you know what I mean? He's been hooping for so long. Like, he got to college in 2003.
Hmm.
He went to college '03. He graduated '07. He got drafted to the NBA, and he's been balling ever since. So, like, you did a
Mm.
math. Like, he's been playing at very high levels of basketball for a very long time. The wheels fell off on him. You know what I mean? So, like, as of now, though, you know what I mean? Like, Jared Dudley has a very high IQ on the court too.
Basketball IQ.
Yeah, he definitely does. And when he was on Phoenix, man, he was a star. Like, he was a stud, man. He was putting up buckets. He was dropping numbers. I remember Jared Dudley. He was on Phoenix. He was putting up.
Phoenix. I remember him on Phoenix.
Yep, the first go around on Phoenix, he was putting up numbers, man. Like, he
He
was.
was.
Hey, Jared Dudley's a good player, man. I remember I remember when he was actually Jared Dudley, like when he was really out there hooping. He was dogging guys out on the court. Like,
You remember when he was JD?
yeah, exactly. So he was dogging guys out on the court, yo. Salute to Jared Dudley, though. Like, I mean, I get it. I mean, every dog has their day, right? He's old now.
Yeah,
He's obviously gonna probably go into like analyst position or maybe
I
even become
agree.
an
Or
executive, even coaching, maybe even working in
oh yeah,
coaching.
I can see that.
Yeah, he has a bright future. Jared Dudley ain't going anywhere. You'll see Jared Dudley once this NBA championship's over. You're gonna see Jared Dudley continuously running around and continuously making moves. He's gonna be in the league forever. You see what I'm saying?
So
Or
you're
he's
gonna
gonna be around basketball forever.
so you're basically saying that Jared Dudley is gonna be a journeyman, so to speak, to suck up the money and then go into some sort of head office or like some kind of position within an basketball organization.
I think the thing is, Jared Dudley has like he has a he's like he's good for media. Like, he's already done stuff. Like, Jared Dudley's already worked in media, so like you've seen him on the ESPNs in the suit and tie. You've seen him on
Yeah,
the
the dude
Fox.
is locked in.
Yeah, exactly. So, and definitely what happens is there's a demand for that. What happens is a lot of these media outlets and stuff like that, they want guys who actually played the sport to work as analysts and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
So they
because they understand it from the inside out.
exactly. So they're looking at it from a player standpoint, like guys who are actually on the court. So, and it's more credible that way too when you see an actual player talking than an actual guy who's never played the game sitting down chit chatting. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like definitely a lot of times I think he has a bright future. Like, you know what I mean, he could probably even he could go to a lot of things. And nowadays with media and podcasting and all this other stuff, Jared Dudley, you'll see Jared Dudley. Like, Jared Dudley, he might even come back to the Lakers next season again. They might even just say everybody back on it. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like he also sees things from a coaching perspective. So he can kind of like shadow the young players and tell, hey, go here, do this, do that. You know what I mean? And
So
they're
you
looking
would say
for
he in a way kind of has that third eye. Third eye,
exact,
the concept of seeing things that a lot of players wouldn't see. Like, so basically, for instance, where it's like, let me compare it to like soccer for a second, because I've coached within those ranks where it's like there's three sides. There's basically three areas to a field, and when you're gonna attack, you attack through the middle, or you attack on the left, or you attack on the right. So basically, all you got to do is, okay, if it seems like you can't penetrate the center, then you work on the opposite side. And if that side doesn't work, then you go to the other side. But let's
definitely.
just say the left has been working. You're
Mhm.
going to continue to go to that side. You're going to see basically what your position as a coach is to identify the weakness in the other team, where you can actually exploit that team, and even make the necessary how do you call it, transitions, even if your team is doing well or your team's doing bad.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Definitely that. And then also he's what he can do also is, like I said, he can work with coaching staff and just kind of, yeah, yo, bro, we gotta get, like, we can't just have in sports, you can't just have a bunch of athletic guys running up and down the court.
Makes
You
no
got,
sense.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta have, like, you know how it is. Back in the days, there was all different. There was athletic guys, there was high IQ guys, there was even guys on the bench that may have aged, but they aged, but they were able to give different takes in the way they see things on the court and work with the young guys and just kind of, you know what I mean, help out and whatnot. We need in sports, we can't just remove the veterans, and that's the problem. That's why you got teams like the Sacramento Kings still running around here, clueless, and the Phoenix, because what happens is they're filled with a bunch of young guys. They don't have veterans out there. They don't have anyone that can actually
That's
show them.
true.
They don't have anyone that can tell them what to do, or this, that, and the third, or do this, do that. So why we have teams like the New York Knicks and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying?
It's
And
a bunch of young guys hanging out.
exactly. Exactly. New Orleans Pelicans and teams like, yeah, I mean, like, where it's just like you can't have a bunch of young guys. You're not gonna win with that kind of, you need veterans
No, you're
on it.
not.
You need veterans. You need, if you look at most championship teams, it's not young guys winning championships. It's veteran teams winning
That's
championships in most
true.
sports. And that's just how it's gonna be. The Toronto Raptors, when they won the NBA championship, it was a mix of veterans and it was a mix of young guys as well. They had
I totally
championship,
agree.
they had pedigree players who had championships, and then they had veteran guys out there as well. So
I
that's what you
agree.
need. You can't just have a bunch of young guys sitting down, break. You're gonna turn into the Phoenix Suns, man, or Sacramento Kings. Those are Chicago Bulls right now, and those kind of teams. They
Hmm.
don't have no idea. No, they have no identity.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So now I think we should definitely cross the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is something also people really don't talk about because I believe like when everybody's talking about the NBA, they want to talk about the flair. They want to just talk about the pageantry.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't want to talk about what's the most important, the nitty gritty, what goes on behind the scenes
Yeah.
in order for these teams to produce.
Mm-hmm.
So my next topic right now will be the coaching matchup. Frank Vogel, which is the LA Lakers coach, versus the, I believe, the three-time NBA champion, Eric Spoelstra. Can you basically give us a rundown of who Frank Vogel is as a coach? And then let's take it to the other side with Eric Spoelstra.
As far as Frank Vogel, I'm not really too familiar on Frank Vogel's history. I just know he played coach the Pacers, and now he basically got the lottery and won and got the chance to coach LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, now he's going into an NBA championship. He has Jason Kidd on his side, so he has a high IQ. He has some assistants like Jason Kidd and whatnot on his side. I don't really see anything special about him. Eric Spoelstra, he's definitely a guy who's been coaching for a very long time. He's been in the game for a very long time. Eric Spoelstra, I mean, he's basically a guy who started in the back room in Miami as a film guy, and he basically worked his way up and then became the coach. So he's been in the Miami organization for over 20 years. In that time frame, he's even able to accumulate about 2 championships with Miami as a head coach. He's won 2 championships with Miami as a head coach. He also got the lottery as well when he was able to land LeBron James as well. So basically, and Dwayne Wade. So he's basically inherited uh he inherited the riches from what's his name over here? Uh the what's his name? The coach from who was the coach before Miami in Miami. What's his name?
Wasn't it Pat Riley?
Pat Riley, exactly. Yeah. So he was able to inherit his riches and basically go out there and just he basically got the team, and he's been coaching that team ever since. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's basically what it is with that guy over there. That's who I see
Because
him.
from my understanding,
Yeah.
I'm just looking up a little bit about Mr. Vogel.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, his coaching career started in like 2001 with the Boston Celtics as an assistant, and then he moved over to Philly. Still was an assistant. 2007 to 2011, he was an assistant on the Pacers. And then 2011 to 2016 is when he first got his head coaching job with the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah. So basically,
And then he oversaw a team in 2016, 2018, Orlando Magic, which was a very young team. So when you really look at it realistically, he did win the lottery being the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Because from what I understand, actually, LeBron was trying to get Tyronn Lue in there. And just because it didn't work out, I believe Tyronn Lue is on that coaching staff.
he's on
Or
the
am I wrong?
Clippers. He's on the Clippers coaching
Okay,
staff.
he's on the Clippers coaching staff. Because I know that Jay Kidd is actually on that coaching staff.
Yeah, Jason Kidd
Um,
initially was supposed to be the coach, but Jason Kidd has a lot of off the court controversial things that happened in his life. So there was a little bit of a reluctance to give Jason Kidd the head coaching job as the Lakers, just because of some of the stuff that he has off the court. Like he has like allegations of like, I don't even want to go into it, but he just has some allegations of some certain stuff. So basically,
mhm.
Frank Vogel was able. They said we'll give Frank Vogel the job, and then we'll give if he doesn't do well, then Jason Kidd will take over. But it is what it is.
It just sounds pretty funny because when I look at that situation, it looks very similar with what happened with the Cleveland Cavaliers, where they had, I believe, that coach David something that actually came from the Euro League, David Bind or something. I forgot what his name is.
David Blatt.
David Blatt,
Yeah,
and they had Tyronn Lue as the assistant.
yeah.
And then
With
they
that,
basically pushed them out of there, and then they said, "Okay, you know what? Now the position is yours."
what happened was, I guess LeBron James just didn't respect David Blatt. LeBron James wasn't too familiar with David Blatt. David Blatt actually does have a good coaching pedigree. He won Coach of the Year, I believe, with Cleveland. And
Mm-hmm.
David Blatt he's a pretty I think he won Coach of the Year if I'm not mistaken. He might have not won it, but he was a good coach. He coached at some team in Israel, and he was
Mm-hmm.
definitely a good coach out there. Like he was respected in the coaching realm and globally around the world and whatnot. But I guess
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James was not too familiar with him, and LeBron James didn't respect him, his decision making and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James, Dan Gilbert basically was, at the mercy of LeBron James because LeBron James came back to Cleveland and LeBron James was on a quest to win a championship. So
Mm-hmm.
Dan Gilbert and the NBA were like, okay, you know what? Like, let's try to make things easy for LeBron, or let's try to get the coach LeBron James needs. So that's where David Blatt was fired. And a lot of coaches were upset about that because they're like, yo, this guy can't be fired, et cetera, et cetera. But this is what it
But
is,
it
yo.
shows you LeBron runs things. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what it is. He does run things.
So quick on the backstory of what's his name, Frank Vogel. What I actually did find out is how he actually began in the NBA is he was a head video coordinator for the Boston Celtics under
Mhm.
Rick Pitino, because I believe now Rick Pitino has went back to coach college basketball, and I believe he's still with Louisville. Don't quote me on that, but I remember him coaching at Louisville at one point.
He coaches for
So say it again.
he coaches for Iona College out in New
Okay,
York.
that's where he is
He's
now.
a part of that scandal with the player getting paid money at Louisville, and basically what happened next was he ended up skipping town, and he either he got fired or he bounced out of there, and basically Patino is no longer coaching at Louisville, so now he's coaching at Iona College in New York.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mhm.
So basically, yeah, Vogel basically started under Fatino, and then honestly, after 5 years, that's what how he was promoted to an assistant. So
Interesting.
maybe just because of Frank Vogel's long tenure in the NBA, that's
Yeah.
why he got the gift of being the coach for the LA Lakers.
Mm, possibly. Possibly, I could see that. The thing is, though, with I'll tell you right now, the thing about the NBA is this: a lot of these coaches are recycled. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you get a lot of these coaches that just jump from Mike D'Antoni's like the ultimate recycling guy.
Oh, that guy.
Doc Rivers is another guy like that. These guys just go
But
from
Dan
team.
Tony can't win. Let's be
Alvin
honest.
Gentry and all these kind of guys. These guys just go from team to team. They don't win nothing. They don't win anything anywhere, and they just bounce from team to team. Frank Vogel, like I said, just won the lottery. He. This is the opportunity. This is something like in life. There's sometimes you get good fortune, you work hard, and then I'm sure he worked hard, but then there's also luck. He just got lucky. Like, let me tell you something. Some of these coaches, as much as you want to say it, they're not really all that cracked up to
Mhm.
be. You know what I mean? They're not really all that. Like you could see, like I'll tell you right now, this may sound controversial and whatnot, but Nick Nurse is a prime example of a guy who got lucky. This is a guy who basically was under the. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm just saying he got lucky. He was a guy who was sitting on the bench for Dwayne Casey. A lot of Dwayne Casey's playbooks, he's still running it with the Raptors. He's running a lot of identical plays because I've seen Detroit play. And I've seen some plays that Dwayne Casey did on the Raptors. He's doing in Detroit, and I see some plays that Dwayne Casey did on the Raptors that Nick Nurse is doing. I don't know if Nick Nurse created that playbook or Dwayne Casey did. Nick Nurse
Mhm.
also got lucky because what happened was he landed Kawhi Leonard.
So it made things easy for him. Easier.
You look at it, yeah. Basically, he landed Kawhi Leonard. He basically had Dwayne Casey's playbook. He had Dwayne Casey's ex players and Kyle Lowry and all those guys. You see what I'm saying? And basically, he just had to tweak certain things, and he was able to get that championship. You see what I'm saying? He rode out with Kawhi Leonard, and basically was able to get that championship. He did definitely coach well in the championship. He had some good schemes and whatnot, but he did do well. But he's the example of a guy who just got he was in the right place at the right time and was fortunate and got lucky. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
To land a player like Kawhi Leonard. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
There's coaches like he is a good coach, but even then, I start to question some of his coaching pedigree because when he played Boston,
Yeah. No,
when
go ahead. Go ahead. Keep
yeah,
talking.
when he played Boston, I was kind of like, bro, I was kind of I seen a lot of things there that I was kind of a little bit
Mhm.
weary about. I was like, is this guy really that good at coaching? You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Keeping Pascal Siakam, not moving Gasol. There was a lot of things there that were just not really all that cracked up to be. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it is what it is, though. You know what I mean?
So, in terms of Frankie Vogel and Eric Spoelstra, do you feel like this is an ideal coaching matchup? Let's be brutally honest, because I have something to say, but I'm just gonna wait for you to, say what you have to say.
To,
And I'm gonna ask one more question after that, but yeah, I'm gonna let you,
yeah.
give your
To be
views.
honestly, as far as it comes with the coaching situation, with no. No. This is just like I said before. It's just matchup wise. They just don't match up too well together. Frank Vogel's. Let's be real. Frank Vogel's riding on LeBron James, Anthony Davis. You see what I'm saying? Like this is a situation where it's kind of like LeBron James is coaching the team at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Rajon Rondo's coaching the team at the end of the day. As far as Eric Spoelstra goes, Jimmy Butler is just riding with Jimmy Butler and Bam and Tyler Hero. I mean, there's so much he can only do. Like at this point, he's just out. He doesn't have the talent pool to even compete on that level. You see what I'm saying? Like,
So it's also about the talent pool right now.
yeah, exactly. So I don't even think there's no wizardry coaching going on over here. It's just pretty basic lineup changes, couple plays called, nothing serious.
So basically, you're saying in this NBA final, the keys have literally been given to the players, and the coaches are just sitting back and making it seem like they're coaching, but they're really not.
Not necessarily they're not coaching, they are coaching, but they're riding on a lot of talent. So it's kind of like they have it's like the players already have chemistry. It's like if I go and I can't coach Cristiano Ronaldo and certain
That's
types of
true.
players. They go out there and they just perform. All you gotta do is game manage. So there's some people that are game managers. They're just managing, you know what I mean? They're just sending guys out, do this, do that. Baseball, they
Mm-hmm.
have managers, right? You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. That's the way I look at it. They're just game managing. There no, there's no crazy strategies going on. I've been watching the whole series. Nothing crazy going on. Nothing like
Hmm.
whoa. The first half of that Boston series versus the Raptors, it looked like a chess match. But then towards the ending, Raptors players just ran out of steam, and they just ended the coaching by Nick Nurse just looked real hideous. He wouldn't
It
even
was
bench
atrocious.
Siakam. It's just he looked desperate. It was like, oh, just keep him in there. Maybe something will happen. It was like, come on, bro. It's
But
horrendous.
it doesn't matter if you're a novice coach or you're a all the way intermediate coach. Personally, I think he should have pulled Siakam to save him. That's just me.
Dwayne Casey did it with DeMar DeRozan when they were playing Cleveland, and DeMar DeRozan was getting humiliated by LeBron James in the NBA playoffs back in 2018 or 20.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I don't see why he couldn't do that, but it
That's
is what
true.
it is. It is what it is at the end of the day.
And yeah, it's been a wonderful night. We've been
Yeah,
here officially for 1 hour 25 minutes and some
sir.
seconds.
Yes,
And
sir.
let's be brutally honest. You can't just end a wonderful NBA conversation just like that without rounding it out
Hmm.
with the last but not least but best question.
Hmm.
Who do you think will win MVP? LeBron James or Anthony Davis?
LeBron James will be the MVP. He definitely will be the MVP. The numbers show it. He's definitely playing the best out of all the players on the Los Angeles Lakers, and that award is already in the ready for him. If he could clean them up by game 5, he got that award in the bag.
So right now the verdict is that LeBron James will be this year's MVP of the NBA Finals, seeing as he got robbed for the regular season MVP.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. And
Jay,
also to let everybody know, I do have a channel, L Selector channel. Please check it out. I got content coming. I got a lot of stuff coming. I got vlogs coming. I got videos dropping. I got a whole bunch of stuff coming. I got crazy ass content on the way. I got live streams. Also, I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow, 3:30. EPL predictions, the whole entire season. My guy Ghana's gonna be there tomorrow. You know what I mean? Ghana #1 blogger. Thank you for having me. It's gonna be at 3:30 p.m. The live stream. Definitely got a special guest, Ghana #1 blogger, and I got another special guest live from Ghana coming through. He's gonna be, you know what I mean, just talking about predictions on that. Also got more predictions coming up. I got the Europa Champions League. The draws did show up, so I have a prediction video on the group stages and what to expect. I have that coming out. That's going to be dropping. I'm going to be doing a live stream for that, so it's going to be live, so anyone can chime in. Also, check me out, L Selector. That's the YouTube page. Thank you, Ghana #1 blogger, for having me on this
no
tonight.
problem, man. It's all love here, man.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. And yo, check out for me. I got more heat coming, like I said before, man. So just check me out, man. Honestly, you see what I'm saying? And yo, support my guys, Ghana #1 blog, and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the likes up, you know what I mean? Subscribe. Definitely he got heat coming, you know what I mean? He got more content coming, you see what I'm saying? He got a lot of heat. So check him out.
All right, guys. This is the end of the first edition of the GHNO1 Blogger Live. And we've had, our special um, guest host, co-host, L
Definitely,
Selector. We thank
definitely.
you for coming on. I know this is definitely not going to be the first and last time, and you guys are definitely going to see me on his his
EPL.
streams also. So you guys, yeah, check it out, man. Thanks
EPL.
again for coming through, man. Hashtag GHNO1 blog. You already know what it is, man. And just right there, if you guys are looking, that's L Selector's YouTube page. Don't be shy. Make sure you click, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and make sure 3 p.m. Eastern, be there, be square, and he will give you the EPL predictions.
Exactly, definitely, definitely, definitely. I'm signing out.
All right, guys, take care. Thank you, L Selector. Take
Yep.
care.
All right, peace.
Peace. Take care, guys. Thank you. I love y'all. Remember, love is the only thing that can unite all of us. Bye for now.